The brother who never left the harbor. Why? Has a man in his 40s spent 26 years never sleeping more than a few miles from the water where his sister disappeared? Thomas Marlow could have left Salt Cove. He had the grades, the scholarship offer, even a signed lease 40 miles down the coast the summer after Elena vanished. Neighbors remember the moving boxes sitting packed in the Marlow driveway for nearly 2 weeks. Then, without explanation, they were unpacked. Thomas took a job at the Harbor Authority office instead. The same office that once kept the Lighthouse logbook. The same office where the one missing page was never explained. He has worked there, in some capacity, for over 2 decades. At first, the town read this as loyalty. A brother who couldn't bear to leave the place his sister was last seen. It's the kind of story Salt Cove liked telling about itself, devoted, close-knit, unwilling to let go. For years nobody thought to ask what exactly. Thomas was staying close to. Detective Grant Ellery began asking that question 3 weeks ago, after cross-referencing Harbor Authority employment records with the timeline of Elena's disappearance. What he found was this: Thomas Marlow was hired at the harbor office in March, 5 months after Elena vanished, and less than 2 weeks after the original investigating officers formally closed access to the office's records as part of their now abandoned inquiry. He didn't take that job to stay close to his sister's memory, Ellery said, reviewing the personnel file. He took it to stay close to whatever was in that building. There's a difference, and it took me embarrassingly long to see it. When investigators asked Thomas directly why he never left Salt Cove, he gave an answer that has since become the emotional center of the reopened case. He did not talk about grief. He did not talk about missing his sister. He said quietly, according to Ellery's transcription, somebody had to make sure nobody else went looking. I couldn't leave that job to anyone who might actually find something. It is, on its surface, a confession of protectiveness. It is also, read differently, a confession of guilt by proximity. A man who spent 26 years positioned exactly where evidence could be controlled, filed, or quietly disappeared. The letters found in Elena's sealed room offer one more detail that complicates Thomas's account further. In a second, previously unexamined page, Elena had written a short passage about her brother, not accusatory, but troubled. Thomas knows more than he says. He always has. I think he's protecting someone, and I don't think it's me. If true, this reframes 26 years of quiet, dutiful presence at the harbor office, not as devotion to a missing sister, but as a long, careful watch kept over something, or someone else entirely. Robert Aldous, the name referenced in Elena's other letter, has still not been located. But newly obtained Harbor Authority timesheets, reviewed for the first time this month, place both Thomas Marlow and Robert Aldous working the same overnight shift on the night Elena disappeared. A fact that appears nowhere in the original 2004 investigation. Because at the time, nobody thought to check. 2 teenage boys. 1 missing girl. 1 office with a cut page in its logbook. And 1 brother who has spent 26 years making absolutely certain nobody else looked closely enough to connect them. Detective Ellery's most recent note on the case is short. And it may be the most consequential line in the entire reopened file. I no longer think Thomas Marlow is hiding what happened to his sister. I think he's hiding who he was with when it happened, and why neither of them has ever said so. For the first time in this investigation, the question is no longer just what the Marlow family knew. It's what Thomas Marlow has spent half his life standing guard over, and whether the answer is finally close enough to the surface that even he can no longer keep it submerged.